Okay, I'm waiting on notification. Boom. And we are live. I want to thank everyone for tuning in to a very special edition of Off the Record on the People's Podcast. People's Podcast with us this afternoon. We have a great guest with us, one who I'm excited to live information from, as well as some inspiration from. Brother Deshane, I can hear a little feedback in your background. Okay, here we go. Boom. Yes, sir. First of all, assalamu alaikum, sir.
Walaikum salam, sir. How are you today?
I'm doing great, sir. Well, Brother Deshane, the first thing, thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule.
Well, thank you, brother. Thank you.
Yes, sir. But the first thing I want to ask you about is, before we went live, you told me that you are in IT, you work in IT at an amazing university. So can you tell us how'd you get into IT?
Well, I've kind of always had kind of a knack for technical stuff and things of that nature. So I started out actually like doing maintenance and cooking at like Marriott for the state of North Carolina. But that wasn't paying the bills. As the children began to come, I'm like, okay, I need to do something that's going to be a little bit more lucrative because I got to take care of these children. So I had went back to school in about 98, 99. Brother El Najim, your uncle, he said that I should do that, to help take care of my family a little better. So I already had the ability to work on computers to a certain level, but during that time, you had to have a certification. You had to have certifications, A+, MCP, Microsoft certifications and things of that nature. So yes, I went back to school long enough to learn that stuff. I did eventually finish, got my associates in IT, but I started out, my first computer job was CompUSA. And people would bring computers in and we would repair them and fix them. Then I went on wanted to be a roadrunner manager for the internet. So I've done it for a long time. So I finally made my way to Duke, that's where I'm at now. And I just started my Starbright Technical Services and Consulting Company. Just started that last week. So I got my webpage up and my LLC and all that stuff getting to work now, so we can make some real things happen for ourselves. So that's where I'm at now.
Wonderful. And so you're saying basically that hopefully when we can travel more freely and COVID and all this is gone, it should allow that I can come to the Duke University and you gonna look out, is what you're saying.
Yes, sir. I got you.
Okay. Just making sure, because it's one of my favorite universities.
Did Capt Ron send you that shirt yet?
No, sir. He did not send me the shirt, and He did not send me the shirt. No, sir. I'm waiting on my Duke shirt. But yes, sir. Well, when did you first hear the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad?
It was about late 1988. In my neighborhood, I grew up in a neighborhood in Durham called Higgstown. And we had a recreation center, and a brother at the recreation center named Brother Andre Muhammad. He invited me and about 6 of my friends out to the mosque. And we went, and out of the 6 of us, I'm the only one that joined. One of us still, he's a sympathizer, and the rest of them just went their own way. But I'm the only one that it stuck with, because when I heard it, I had never heard nothing like it before in my life. And the minister's voice and what he was saying rang so true to what was happening in my life and what I saw happening in my friends' lives. So it was late 88. My first Savior's Day was October 89 at the DC Armory. We took a bus ride up there and I held posts. It was a brother that was a lieutenant in DC named Brother Eric. He was a little short brother, but he was strong in stature. He was like, "Brother, you want to hold post?" I said, "Brother, I'm processing." He said, "What? You don't want to hold post with the Honorable Mr. Louis Farrakhan?" I said, "Oh, it ain't that, brother. I just didn't know I could." He was like, "You hold post right there." So we went through holding post that year, and that's when the minister gave to Tawana Brawley the name, Miriam.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Miriam Muhammad. So that was that Savior's Day. That was my first Savior's Day in DC. And then it took us like 2 years of that long processing period back in the day, we used to have a thing where brothers would process too long, process a year, but you holding pose, you come in all the meetings, and then you finally get registered. I got registered in April 11th, 91.
Praise be to Allah. Yes, sir. And how did your parents feel about you accepting the teaching, sir?
My dad was like, all right, now don't let Farrakhan get you killed now. But he was like that. But towards the end, he would get tapes from me before he passed away. My mom always was in support. She said, as long as I know where my son's at, because I'm the only child from my mother. So she was like, as long as I know that he's safe and he's okay, that's fine. So she never really had a problem with it at all.
Wonderful, wonderful. My sister Miriam sends the greetings and says, all praises to Allah. Alaikum salam, Sister Miriam. What was it like for you to meet the most? No, first, before we get to you meeting the minister, what was it like coming in the 90s, and who trained you, and how did you, come up in the military?
Okay. When I came in, it was a brother that was the minister named Brother Preston X, the communicator. He also had a TV show where he talked politics and stuff. Brother Preston was the minister briefly, and then Brother David X McAllister came down from DC. It was him. Brother Cortland came around. I think Brother Cortland was out of Baltimore. Brother Vertus, the DI, he was our first officer. So he did a lot. He did a lot of training. That was a very beautiful brother, very dedicated. He used to carry 5-gallon buckets of water from our study group house from the gas station because our water didn't work. So that was the early days, so we could flush the toilets and stuff. I mean, it was actually an FOI house, but we did what we had to do to make it happen. Then we went to the rec centers to have meetings. So it was him, Brother Andre, Brother David, 2X Muhammad, that actually became the minister. Me and him we labored together for a number of years. We actually put Durham on the map with our labor because we were just so tight. He did a lot of training. He taught me how to drill. I mean, he was 16 years old. He was 18 when he became the minister. And I'm 21 and I'm his captain, and we got all these older believers. It was a challenge, brother. It was a challenge.
Yes, sir. And what was the biggest challenge being so young and serving in a laboring position?
Well, we had good trainers as far as like Captain Curtis. He was down in Columbia with Minister Kendall then, but he's Armenian now in Chicago.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Brother Cap McKeel, I can never thank Allah enough for his training and his inspiration. I kind of came in on the end of your father being the regional captain. He was more supreme, he was moving into supreme captain then. I think that next month after I got registered. But we had great trainers. Captain John out of Greensboro.
Yes, sir.
He was from DC also, John F. Muhammad, I think. So we had a lot of older brothers that were the age that we are now. They were that age then. So here we are, 28, 21, 18 years old, an older mosque with young laborers. It was a challenge because it was trust issues, our lack of experience that they felt because of our age. Some of them were followers of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. So we only knew the minister, so our expression of getting the job done was the way the minister was teaching us.
Yes, sir.
So that's pretty much how we got started.
Praise be to Allah. And thank you and your family, sir, for you all sacrifice. What was it like for you to meet the Most High Min Farrakhan?
Well, the first time I shook his hand, we were at a laborers meeting in Wisconsin, a captain's retreat in Wisconsin. And we out there playing tag football, out there at the lake. And he came down a little walkway out to where the field was, and it was brothers walking up to him, shaking his hand. And I've always been the type where I'm not going to try to force anything. That's that's the minister. And a brother tapped me on the shoulder, and I turned around, and the minister said, "Salam alaikum." I said, "Wa alaikum salam, sir." And that was my first time. I only shook his hand about three times. Um, but there's a lot of it, like he told Brother Minister David, that a lot of the things that we did in Durham in those late 90s was off inspiration, because we didn't have that connection, or Brother Minister David didn't have that connection with him that some of the other ministers had. So our drive was just off the pure inspiration of believing that he is who he is.
Praise be to Allah. And speaking of him being who he is, when did you go from seeing him from maybe as an activist or a speaker to someone who is in fact divinely guided?
Well, when I got registered in 91, we had a October Savior's Day. No. It was the Savior's Day where the minister asked to pray when he told everyone he had cancer. That particular Savior's Day, I was still dealing with smoking, but I didn't want to embarrass the minister or the nation by smoking. So I would drive like 15, 20 miles outside of Durham, Josh, to smoke. That's how much I didn't want to affect the believers or anything. I wasn't a laborer or anything at that time. I was just coming in. So I asked the brother to put me on post in Chicago. I hadn't smoked since I've been in Chicago, but I asked the brother that put me on post, "Brother, can I be relieved while the minister make this prayer? Because I want to make this prayer with him, because I got something that I just got to get off of me." So when the minister did that prayer, I asked Allah to take the cigarettes away from me. I didn't want that in my life. And leaving out from Durham on that Monday and coming back that next Monday, I never smoked again. And that was October 1991. So at that point, I was a believer. Like, okay, I tried everything I could do to quit smoking, and it didn't work. I always had an excuse to go back to it. But after his prayer, the power of his prayer to heal anybody that had anything going on wrong with them that Savior's Day, it worked for me. So from that point on, that man's divinely guided.
Praise be to Allah. What advice would you give to other people who are battling with drug or smoking addictions?
I would say seek refuge in prayer. Prayer, and try to get busy doing something else. Pick up a new hobby. Pick up something else to do, reading or something, exercise. But for me, it was prayer. My own willpower didn't do it for me. My belief in his prayer having power did it for me. So I would say seek any kind of treatment that you have to get. But prayer is the most important thing. Prayer, and then just saying no. Like Don Elijah Muhammad said, just quit, brother.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Wonderful. And thank you, sir, for your transparency and your honesty. And thank you all for continuing to watch People's Podcast. My next question for you, sir, is being in the Carolinas, racism or black on black self-hate, have you ever faced a time of fear? And if so, how did you overcome that fear?
No, not really fear. We were just very watchful, because we're very close to, Durham is black in the city part. The outsides of Durham is very, white and rednecks and stuff of that nature. And we got little small towns. So we had things of people, on the white guys throwing beer bottles at us out the windows. We ride on our bikes, being trespassed from Duke University because you're black, and they had a game room in Duke University. And we used to go down there and play the video games after we sold drinks at the football game. It was okay for us to work over there. But once we begin to go to the arcade and play the games and everything, we get trespassed and taken to the little Duke police station, and we take off running, and come back the next day. But so
Yes, sir.
it's a lot of subversive racism in Durham. But fear, I wouldn't say fear. I would say like apprehension or mistrust in a lot of things that happen in Durham as far as Caucasians are concerned in the 90s and the 80s. But the only time I felt a mortal threat to my life, um, we had a person that said they got registered and said they wanted to be in the nation, and they opened up a little shabazz selling fish and chicken and stuff like that. And I had gotten a call that the brother was cooking pork chop under the name of the Shabazz restaurant. So I went down there and like, yo, bro, you can't be doing this. And he had another brother down there that we eventually fished in, and his name is Brother Jamal, and he's in Philadelphia now. But we went down there and I confronted him about it. The brother put out a shotgun on me. And me and the FOI secretary was like, come on, bro, we need to go, man, before he be done shot us. Like, he ain't gonna shoot nothing. You know, it was a momentary butterfly in the feeling because it's a shotgun, you know. But but something comes up and you wait a minute, I'm an FOI. You know, I know we can get shot too, but the confidence level was like, man, hell no. I said, you know what? I told all the young brothers around there, I said, look here, this brother, he not with the minister. He not with the nation. Y'all can do whatever y'all want to do with him. And I just walked away. So a few days later, he had closed down and we didn't see him again for probably 10 years. So that was my like mortal situation where, you know, a shotgun was pulled on me. But there was no fear after that initial butterfly thing eased out. Because, you know, got a shotgun staring at you, Josh.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I can only imagine, sir. Praise be to Allah that you were able to make it through. Leading up to the May Man March, what was the environment like, and how did it personally impact you, sir?
Well, your father had us working, bro. The posters were coming in weekly. We had little cans where we had to raise money to help send back to help support the march. We had clipboards going out, knocking door to door, signing up people to get on the bus. We were pushing in UNC Chapel Hill. We were pushing in Durham. I mean, we took several buses. I don't even remember the exact count now, but we took several buses. We worked hard. We went through every neighborhood, letting people know about the march and what the minister was doing. And it was heavy. It was heavy, Josh. It was heavy.
Praise be to Allah. And once it was over, what changed for you individually, and what changed, or did you see any change in the community?
I saw a change in the community. People were more receptive of us, but we began to see a lot of changes happening in the mosque as far as the people that were coming. It's like the momentum getting up to the march was really high, but after that, the people that came in after 1995, they didn't have the same work ethic as we did up to 95. And you know, in my observation of what was happening in Durham and North Carolina and South Carolina, because at that point, Brother Akil had put me over North Carolina and South Carolina. So I actually saw the impact of the newer people coming in. It changed a lot.
Yes, sir. And how can we get what you all had prior to the May Man March? How can we have that? How can we get that?
We just have to study the minister and his moves. When we came in, we studied how Brother Curtis and Brother Akil and your father and the F team, we studied them. We wanted to do whatever they were doing. We wanted to feed off of their teaching, their training. We was in constant communication of drive. You know, help the minister drive. And that's how we did. We drove. We didn't take a bunch of excuses. We didn't have a lot of these little weak quotas and stuff. We wanted to emulate. We thought the F team, they were superheroes to us. And we knew the minister was giving it to them and teaching them. So we hung on to what they said and what they told us. We wanted to dress like them. See, back then it was a lot of speaking going on. Brother Khaled, you used to damn near live in North Carolina. You know, so I mean, so we learned a lot from him. I'm the brother that tore the mustard pants that brother Kadir, the brother Khaled used to wear all the time. He had a pair of mustard colored pants, and I tore his cuff on his pants. He never let that go. But he was an excellent trainer. You know, so we had examples around us all the time with Dr. Alim and Brother Akil, and we had so many brothers that would time they came off the road, they would be on the phone with us telling us what the Honorable Mr. Louis Farrakhan just said. And so we had that FOI integrity, man. I mean, we went from Goodwill suits to being able to buy one good suit, one good shirt, you know, having that integrity to want to look like the teachings is making you a success, because you gotta dress to impress.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You
Yes,
can't go
sir.
out there trying to sell no final call with no wrinkled up clothes on. That's a misrepresentation.
Yes, sir.
So we wanted to look like what we saw in the minister. So we wanted that mustard color suit. We wanted that green double breasted. We wanted the
Yes, sir.
Hamburg. We
Yes, sir.
wanted that because when we went to sell the paper, we wanted the people to say, "Damn, we need to find out what the Muslims doing."
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You know, so it's like we say that young people want us to be their fathers. They want us to be their examples. We got to be that. We can't fall in line with what they're doing and expect it to be an example. We can't wear Pee Wee Herman suits, bro.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You know, the suit got to fit. You know, and fit properly. Have some room in there. You know, so if I would say anything, I would say just watch the example of the Honorable Mr. Louis Farrakhan. He is our example. I mean, it's true when Brother Kill was going through some things, and he was like, "Bro, regardless of what happened, don't take your eyes off the minister." And I live by that, so I don't care what anybody else do. You know, we got to keep our eyes on the minister, and we got to work like he worked.
Absolutely.
I mean, we ain't built out of the stuff he built out of because he's God's man. He built for a purpose, but we got a little bit of that in him. We can do something.
That's right. That's right.
It's just a matter of picking up an iron, Josh. Ironing your shirt.
Yes, sir.
It's so hard for people to do the simple stuff.
Yes, sir. Well, Sister Tahir Muhammad said, "All praise to Allah." That's her dad, and she more love, more life. Brother Fred, somebody, Brother Fred says his brother Capt Deshane Muhammad. Brother Ron said he was there for the Khalid Muhammad incident. Yes, sir. We got the mustard suits too. Praise be to Allah that y'all got the mustard suits.
Yeah. When we were on tour with Reverend Ben Chavez before the Million Man March, he went around through North Carolina and South Carolina. We had him in the motorcade. Police couldn't keep up. They wrecking the vehicles. Me and Brother Ron have a photo that I think both of us are in our mustard suits, standing rostrum with Ben Chavez in Durham. But you know, those were the fun years, brother. We cut our hair off. You know, brother. You know, we cut our hair off. Now I wish I had never done that because I need that back. But it was some fun. It was some fun training, brother. Brother Curtis, man, he just has a way of making you understand. You know, Brother Kill, Brother Sadiq, you know, formerly Brother Melvin, Brother Emil, all the brothers that I'm blessed to be around nowadays. It's such a blessing to listen to them and take their advice and their sacrifice and what they do. It's so critical, brother. I can never thank Allah enough for allowing me the opportunity to walk with those brothers now. It's a blessing.
Praise be to Allah. Yes, sir. My next question is, what do you do for fun, Brother Deshane?
I watch movies, Josh. I like to watch movies and secret service documentaries, and I'm a big Star Wars head, bro. You know,
hey, me too.
straight up Jedi, you know, straight up Jedi. You know,
Yes, sir.
love it, man. Love it since the first one came out when I was like 7, 8 years old. You know, watch them every time they come on TNT. My wife would just know, oh, he gonna stop there. I mean, I got Disney Plus,
Yes,
but
sir. Yes, sir. Yes,
I
sir.
just can't stop. You know, my children love Star Wars. You know,
Well, speaking of Star Wars, the prequels get a lot of backlash. I like the prequels. What about you?
I hated Phantom Menace, Josh, because that
But
pod
that
racing
one. But what
scene
about
was
what about 2 and 3 though? Two and three
two and
though.
two and three was cool. You know, it was cool. I
Okay.
like
Okay.
those two. The pod racing in Phantom Menace was just too long. But my
I
sons and them
agree.
say that was the best part. My sons,
Yeah.
both of them, all three of them say that was the best part. But you
I'm
know,
not a fan of Jar Jar Binks or the guy who was selling them, selling young Anakin and stuff like that. But people 2 and 3 are like some of my favorite movies ever, and people be like, "How you like those?" But I like them. I like them.
yeah,
Yes,
these
sir.
last three is like, you know, they all right.
I
The
agree. I
last
agree.
three,
I
you know,
agree.
because they kind of went away from canon. They went away from canon a
Exactly.
lot on those, you know.
Yes, sir. I agree. Well, what oh, I see your comments. Thank you, and thank you all for continuing to watch. Will you ever write a book about your life, sir?
Uh, just like the minister say, I don't want to put a period on anything while I'm still breathing.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Um, I just would do, you know, try to learn to do journals and stuff like that, so I don't forget things that I've went through and things and obstacles and challenges. But I don't think I'll write a book because I don't think I've done enough of anything to warrant putting a period on a life that I haven't really lived yet.
Yes, sir. What what advice would you give to future husbands?
Patience. I know my wife downstairs like, okay, what are you gonna say? But we're going on 28 years or 29 years in January.
Will be
And
so long.
I would say that this life can be lived. It's not gonna be easy. It's gonna be, you know, bumps and stuff in the road. Things aren't always gonna go your way. You gotta let truth win the argument. That's easier said than done because of egos. But if you give your word to God that it's for better or for worse, it's like the minister said, it's gotta be it's gotta be worse to be better, and it's gotta be better to be worse. So
Mm,
you just going into it, and 6 months down the line, this ain't working. And people do that because we want to play, you know, we play sex games. But if you do this because you want to build helpers for the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, and you want to see your children be the second generation, third generation, fourth generation Nation of Islam, then you will stick it out because you want them to see the example of what it looks like to live this life, even with the struggles. This life can be lived.
mm.
It struggles, but if you're busy and you're both in the mosque, you're both trying your hardest, you can make it. But it can't be
Beautiful.
one in the mosque and one out the mosque. That's just not gonna work. You know, in my humble opinion, I just don't see that being successful long term because then you start splitting the baby.
Mm,
So who's going to church and who's going to the mosque? We never had to play that game with our children.
mm, mm,
So I
mm.
don't suggest that we do that unless you come with them. If y'all already been together 10 years, then you just got to work. Somebody got to work on converting the other one. That's how I got to go.
Yes, sir. And speaking of your children, what advice would you give to future fathers?
I would say try to spend as much time as you can with them. Um, give them individual care. I didn't do that a lot. You know, we was traveling a lot in the 80s and 90s. If the minister was in 8, 10 hours from Durham, we were there.
Mm,
So we may leave, you know, home not in the best condition sometimes because we just want to be wherever the minister's at, you know. I would say balance it out. Try to be a part of their lives. Try to be interested in things that they're interested in. Luckily, all of mine are hip hop heads and they love Star Wars too, so that's a plus, you know.
Yes, sir.
But
Yes, sir.
I would say just keep your word to them and try to be there for them as much as you can.
Beautiful. And thank you all for watching. Brother Captain, 1 second. I just want to make sure that we give a special shout out to all of the sponsors of the People's Podcast very quickly. Before I ask one more question of you, sir. Hold on. There we go. Boom. Okay, of course it's not. Okay, there we go. Boom. Cash App, the dollar sign, the People's Podcast. Thank you all for your sponsorship. I want to thank, and boom, there we go. 1 second. Here we go. I want to thank all of the special sponsors of this month's podcast sponsoring. I want to start with my brother Rashad and Jamal, Street Premier Media Production. They have a 4K camera and drone. They do television, film, and they are constantly working on video sets at this time right now. That's what their passion is right now. ABC I Love Me, my sister Miriam's children's book and coloring book, both of which are on Amazon. Thank you very much, Sister Miriam, and please go out, make sure you all go out and get it. My sister Naima, Stay on Point Dance Academy, LLC. She's teaching ballet virtually to young girls all across the country. And if you're in the Atlanta area, she can teach you with the mask. They're doing COVID precautions and in the studio. Supreme Men's Fashion out of St. Louis. Please make sure we reach out to our brother and support him. He can ship you clothes all across the country. I'm coming right back to you, Brother Captain. Sister Tia Muhammad, Raising Black Millionaires. Economic empowerment and development to young Black children through flashcards, and she does a great job at that. Brother Kenneth Muhammad, bow tie maker extraordinaire. Thank you very much, Brother Kenneth. He can ship his bow ties to you all across the country. Exodus, a new way of life, credit restoration. If you need your credit done, reach out to them. Colleagues Boutique, they do custom made shirts and they do a great job. Thank you all very much for your continued support. Brother Chantel X, they pay truck drivers to go across the country, as well as they ship things, their refrigeration specialists. Thank you very much, Brother Chantel. Brother Jabbar Muhammad, Client First Construction, painting, carpentry, flooring, plumbing, etc. If you're in the Chicago area, make sure you reach out to him, please. Coming right back to you, Red Captain. Dr. Henry M. Carter, King Henry's Turkey Legs. If you're in the Atlanta area, make sure you stop by and get some King Henry Turkey Legs. Brother Rashad Muhammad of Chicago, COVID-19 Disinfecting Cleaning Service. Thank you very much. If you're in Chicago, please reach out. My father's book, A Soldier in the Movement of Christ, AbdulSharif.com. Thank you very much, Dad. Last but not least, my two books, Cleopatra and No Father, No Excuse, both of which are on Amazon. Okay, Brother Captain. And thank you all for watching. Brother Captain.
Yes, sir, I'm here.
Yes, sir. What I wanted to ask you is, you said you're a hip hop head. Well, what is your favorite album of all time, sir?
For me, I have different ones for different periods, but I gotta say Paid in Full, Erg B and Rakim.
Yes, sir.
Criminal Minded, Boogie Down Productions. Even going back, Run DMC, their first album. Let me see. I like lyricists, Josh. I like lyricists.
Yes,
so
sir. Yes,
some
sir.
of them, so like Chino XL. I don't know if you ever heard of him.
I'm familiar.
Razkaz.
Okay.
Sauce Money. Cause I used to spit a little bit back in the day, you know.
Okay. You said.
I had a little Durham hit called The Big Bang Theory. It was a mosque hit. Bro, David is the only one that got a copy of it now. You know, but let me see. I like Big Sean right now. I like Big Sean. I like Big Sean. You know, I like Buster. You know, always have.
Yes, sir.
Wu-Tang Clan.
Okay.
You know, Ghetto Boys. You know.
Yes, sir.
It was a group out of Philadelphia called Cash Money and Marvelous. They were a Will Smith, Fresh Prince, and DJ Jazzy Jeff type group, except they had more of an edge with them. They were nice. They're
Okay.
nice. They were nice. As far as hip hop, I mean, anything, as long as you're saying something and you're spitting, and I can understand what you're saying. You know, I can work with you if I can understand what you're saying. You know, so that's
Okay. Excellent. Okay, good. I'm not up on the Marvelous, but everybody else I was pretty much familiar with. I know Chino Excel because of Tupac, and hit him up. Sauce Money, I remember Jay-Z used to talk about him, so I'm familiar with that a little bit. But yeah, okay, good. Well, Brother Captain, what would you like your legacy to be, sir?
that I was a good brother that tried his best to help Minister Farrakhan and our people rise. You know, that's what I wanted to be. That damn, he loved some Farrakhan, he loved some nation, he loved them Muslims. You know, he loved that, man. He the only one who took it seriously out of us. You know, but everybody gonna take it seriously in a few minutes. It's only a matter of time. It's just when you walk in the door.
Praise be to
But
Allah.
everybody coming.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Beautiful. Well, I want to thank you again. Thank your family for their sacrifice and you as well. I can't stress this enough, sir, that Duke University, the best college basketball program I've ever seen. So, I'm just telling y'all, like, I just never seen that. I wasn't around for the UCLA time period. Everybody talking about UCLA and, John Wooden and all. That was before. I don't know. I didn't see it. I can't say nothing about that. I seen Duke. That's all I'm saying. So, shout out to Duke University as well. Please tell Brother Captain Ron, don't forget me about me with my shirt. And I heard you say a lot of names. So for those who are watching, who helped you and who have trained, anybody, if you have suggestions of people who I should interview, please DM me, inbox me, and let me know so we can get the history from everyone who was a part of it and a part of this thing of ours. So I appreciate you for your sacrifice. And man, let's keep doing the great work, sir.
Praise the Lord. And I don't want to forget Brother Chris. He was a counter executive. You interviewed him a couple months ago. He
Oh,
was
yes, sir.
very
Yes, sir.
instrumental in helping, and him and Brother Hamza. I don't want to forget them. So now, Josh, you have a name with the face of the guy who's always say, y'all got robbed, Josh.
Yes, sir.
Y'all got robbed.
Yes, sir.
That's how
Yes,
I
sir. Yes,
felt,
sir.
brother, because, I'm down with the South, but that's how I roll,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You already know what
South,
it
baby.
is. You already know what it is. You already know what it is.
Everything below the Mason-Dixon. That's how we roll. Ain't nothing
Absolutely.
but righteous competition.
Ain't ever righteous competition. Yes, sir.
That's right.
And Captain Ron is saying Tar Heels outside right now. He's saying in the comments. But I want to thank you all and thank you for your support of the drill team because Lord have mercy. That was people don't if you from the outside looking at it like y'all take it too serious, but it is our Duke. It is our UNC. You know what I'm saying? That's what that's what it is. That's our sport. So
Yes, sir.
we take it serious.
Yes,
So
sir.
thank you very much, and may Allah continue to bless you and your family, sir.
Thank you. May Allah continue to bless you. And my condolences about your mother, brother.
Praise be to Allah. Yes, sir. It's all good. Thank you all. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.